right? I'm like 44 years old, or 43 years old at the time, tenured professor at Stanford. I'm like, do I really need to be cage exit diving with great white sharks? And for me, that was the end. That was the last of any deliberate physical risk taking. I'm thinking, okay, I might pass out, but at least I'll float to the top, most likely. Finally, he gets back, this guy Brock, and we do the share air thing. So I'm finally like, and he's like, what is going on? Except now we have a problem because we're under there. There are two guys out. We're now sharing air off of his scuba tank. Well, eventually those other guys get out and we bail out. We emergencyed up to the surface. And when we get to the top, everyone's like, what happened? What happened? I'm like puking up water. A buddy of mine who was on that trip, was a former SEAL team guy, just takes me aside of the boat and he just goes, so what do you learn from this experience? So I'm like, check the safeties. Always check the safety. So it turns out that the divers had been sipping off the safety tanks on the way down because they want more air in their scuba tanks so they can stay out longer. So here's what happened. That night, I'm like obviously anxious. That didn't feel good. But I know enough about PTSD and I know enough about anxiety and the way that the brain works that I decided next morning, and I'm not saying this because I don't claim to be tough, but I got into my scuba gear, put on my scuba tank, went down in the cage and cage exited the next day. Also caught on film if anyone wants to call bullshit on that. Now I didn't do it to be tough. I did it because now I felt like I got past that experience. Yeah. I don't like to say I nearly died. I like to think that the Reaper came in and was like offered me a fist bump and I decided to give him the finger instead. It's kind of, but I'll tell you, by the time we got back across the US border, I thought to myself, okay, what am I doing?